Hello, 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 everybody.
Hi,
Welcome to the
friend.
Courtney and Bonnie show here.
However chaotic that may be.
Well, we are here to discuss this book right here. I feed her to the beast, and the beast is me. Awesome book. Okay, I hope that y'all read this down in the chats here. Let me see if I could. I want to leave that scrolling at the bottom. So I'm hoping that this will still show up. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there
Perfect.
we go.
Okay. So I'll say hello to the chats and then we can talk about this book. Cool.
Sounds good.
Hello, Pat. Nice to
Hey,
see you
Pat.
again. Can you hear me okay? I feel like yours is kind of low. I don't know. Let me turn mine down. I
Am
don't
I
know.
low? I can turn mine up too.
Yeah, see if you can turn yours up a little bit.
Okay. I always worry if it's too loud.
I'm always loud, so I don't know if I'm too loud or if
How was
somebody's
that?
too low. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna just turn mine down a little bit. Okay, there we go. Hello, Pat. Pat. Hello. We got Jaleesa in the house. We meet again. I just finished sprinting here, so it's like, oh,
Everybody's like, we'll just stick around.
yeah. There you go. There you go. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Shame I forgot to share as a post. Oh, that's okay. Well, we're live. Hopefully, people will find
We
it.
made it.
Excited to hear what y'all have to say, y'all. Well, it sucks we're going to be doing some spoilers though, but if you don't mind it, it's a good book, I
Still
swear.
read
Pick it
it.
up.
Still read
Yes.
it.
Jalise says she don't mind.
No.
Hello, cool gamer. Hi, Nell. Happy to see you
Hey,
again.
Neil.
Hi, D. Russell. How you doing? Got Nelly Nell in the house. We got
Hey,
Deja. We got
everybody.
Jigra. Got Pat. All the cool peeps here. Okay, and we got Bonnie. So this is my first time speaking to Bonnie face to
Is
face.
it really? Oh, I was going to say face to face, maybe, but yeah.
No, I love to go to your spreads. I think they're fun time.
They're chaotic, and we're proud of it.
Got Jigra in the house too. So, as y'all know, we read this book this month. Now, I read this for oh, let me see your book. Your looks different. Is that the
It's just like
paperback,
the
right?
shimmeriness on it.
Huh?
I just think it's just shimmering.
Ah, is that a library? That's not a library copy though, huh?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's why I got the library. I
Save
got more.
money, go to the library.
There you go. I'm still waiting for the e-hold for this, but you know, in the audiobook hold, they said coming soon. Well, I'm already done. So I
My
guess I don't need it.
library told me it would take me 3 months before I could get my hands on a copy of the book and the audio. So I was like, okay, we're just gonna do the book.
Yeah, well, mine's been saying 2 week hold for like 4 weeks. It's been saying that for a minute.
Oh, that's
So like
dope.
the ebook and the other one, and then the library, physical library, came through with this like real quick, like a week. But on electronic and audio, I'm still waiting. Don't you hate that? It's like
This was
whatever.
like my most anticipated read. I think I was just kind of like, I'm not waiting. like I'm not waiting.
How did you hear about this book?
I was actually I always look up like black authors for the year and any kind of like releases. I'm more of a everybody knows I'm more of like a cozy mystery girly. So I'm trying to work my way into like more intense stories like suspense and thriller. And I saw this cover and it was a wrap.
You're like, yes,
It was a
gonna do
wrap. I saw the cover, I was like, sold. Don't even talk to me. I don't even care what it's about. I will buy it.
it. Well, it's definitely a good one if you're going to pull the trigger and say, hey, I'm gonna go and go outside of my genres I normally go into. I first saw it on Book Tribe, and then she's hosting the For the Culture Readathon. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
Yeah.
And, I saw it on her channel. I was like, "Oh, I'm getting that." And then I was on IG and I saw you, and I was like, "Oh,
A
okay,
wrap.
yeah." You and I have a few books in common actually this month.
And honestly, I feel like ever since I said I wanted to read that one, a lot of them have been like pushed my way. Like the AI was like, this is what you need now.
Hey, it's recognizing, okay, Bonnie,
I'll
this is
take it.
what it's gonna do. So do you want to give a synopsis or you want me to give a
Uh,
synopsis?
You give it. Because then I'm going to give too much.
Oh, okay. So in a nutshell, okay, so you have this girl named Laurie. I'm gonna call her Lauren. It said Lawrence, but I call her Laurie. So you have Laurie, who is this Black girl. She's 17 and she is in Paris at this prestigious ballet school. And she's the only one of her kind there, right? So, and it's very evident. And she is fully aware of her position in the world that, hey, there's not a lot of these people that look like me. And once I get up from here, where does that leave my future? So she is definitely working hard, like hard in the streets to be the best of the best, because she knows someone in her position needs to be the best, because she has odds stacked against her being the only Black person in this school and also in the field. So anyway, so she hooks up with this other girl named Josephine, who all of a sudden I can think she was in a class or two behind her, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she shot through the ranks as this big primo whatever ballerina, and everybody's like, how did homegirl do it? How did she become this big whatever and all these things? So her and Josephine get together and they have a lot in common. They come from, not so privileged elite background, which most ballerinas come from, because it's expensive to maintain all that stuff, right? And the nepotism and all that crap. And so
bad.
And then so Josephine's like, hey, homegirl, stick with me. Let me show you. How much do you really want to be this ballerina? She's like, bad. I want to be bad. So she takes her to these underground river of blood. How people have not discovered this, I have no idea. But they go like beneath the catacombs in Paris. And she basically says, hey, look, I want to do whatever it takes. I will give anything, everything to be the premier ballerina. Okay, take my soul, right? So she gets this power to be able to, what was the power? She wants power to not be denied. That is what she sacrifices herself for, to this entity in the river of blood, to bend people to her will. So she's commanding people, hey, look my way, watch me. And they do. And she gets, fame and stuff a little bit, just key positions in these recital things. And she gets selected to this ballerina company outside of the school, which would not have taken her otherwise. Then there, exactly. And then you have, she has her, meanwhile, so that girl Josephine who showed her the river, she's killed. So she's trying to figure out who killed this girl, right? So that's a history in itself. And then you got Coralie, who is her roommate, white privileged girl. Her mama works at the school, so she's an in. She's like, I got this in the bag. Now meanwhile, homegirl's skills are lacking, right?
Trash.
But she's like, I got this. This is me. You're going to be my sidekick flunky. But when Laurie gets the position and Coralie's like out on her butt, no positions for her, then she's jealous. She's like, that's not the way it's supposed to be. It looks like they just accepted anybody.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I got problems with that already. And then I'm giving a general synopsis of the whole book, but it goes in there. And then so Coralie's like, you're not spending time with me. What are you doing? And she tracks her down, and you realize Coralie realizes that she got the power. And she's like, you need to give me the power so that not to give me power. You need to give me your position that you have aspired to, because you cheated. Terrible. Meanwhile, all she was trying to do was level the playing field. But anyway, Laura got some skills. She deserves to be there, but her skin color is what held her back. So this little power just gave her a little out. So you're following that, and they do a little battle. And then they have some other little folks that she met that she's kind of bonding with, that also have sacrificed something to this demon blood lake. So that's a nutshell. But good book.
To just sit here and hear the story over again, I'm like, what the heck was I reading? What is going on?
You can tell I was into it. That's how I was explaining to my husband. Like I was doing a video with him. See, this girl Coralie, I was like, he was like, why don't you just explain things like that on your channel? I'm like, people can't handle that.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna work on that. No, I think like I had to put the book down a few times because there were certain things I'm like, oh no, they didn't. Let me close this book. Let me go back to work. I'm not even gonna read on my break because they are playing with me right now. And that friend of hers, evil. You think the devil is like the bloody river, and it's really her best friend. Like that's genuine perspective.
And she wasn't the only crazy one, but we'll go to that because I wrote down a page number that shocked me. I'm still pissed. You know what page?
I bet it's the same one I highlighted. I bet you it's the same one. Okay,
it is page 50. Look at it. I don't even have to look at my notes.
Hold on. Because I
was like, oh, heck no. I put the book down and went and took a walk.
Did you say page 50?
50.
Yep. Should have known.
You want to talk about? You want to read the quotes on page 50.
There's so many quotes that I highlighted in here, but nothing made me more angrier than people trying to make her small. And it's like, you expect kind of the colorism, but the blatant racism in her face constantly. And they'd be like, do you want to quit? What? Am I not supposed to have feelings, emotions? Mm-hmm. And she's like, I can't cry. I just got to suck it up. I would have died.
And she's been doing that for what, 8 years?
8 years without any family supporting her.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, I was just like, But you know what I did think though? Like while this book, yes, definitely has a racial component to the theme, it was handled to where it wasn't stated like flat out a lot. It was just girls like me or in my position, you know? So it wasn't like thrown in your face like some books of these racist people, you know? So I thought that was very interesting.
It was very microaggression-y. It's very much like it's just enough for you to pick up on it, but it's just enough for people to dismiss it. It's like, oh, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's not?
I felt almost like when they were describing the racism components in this book, like, you know how America, we, you know, at least we're honest, we have hate, right? Yes. I felt like this was a Parisian hate, like nice about it because it's set in Paris.
It was very much like, you wore that shirt, interesting choice.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? It was very Mean Girl-esque. Very Mean Girl. Where you have to question the compliments. Like,
yes,
do you really like my skirt or do you think it's ugly? I can't tell.
But it wasn't even, I feel like not even just like the comments and how people talk to her. It was also in the delivery of how the author wrote the book, because it wasn't like, oh, and these racist people. Like it was like even the way that she described things was kind of like a subtle way, so you can infer that she's talking about it's racism. Well, you know,
I think it's very much like Cookie Crumbs, where she didn't just blatantly say anything.
Yeah, it
was very much like, hey, follow me, see where it goes from here.
Yeah,
because there was points where I was like, this is the point where she's gonna snap. Because in my mind, I'm like, these little things are building up to something and she's going to snap. But when she didn't, I was kind of like, I could appreciate that. Because I wasn't expecting it. When she didn't respond or react to things, I was like, oh, you different. You're a different breed.
She's going along to get along. But I think also it's that classical train. You know how she kept saying as ballet dancers, you're supposed to have like the bland face. You're supposed to be elegant. Nothing stands out. No fingernail polish. Like, you know, just very there and elegant, you know. And I felt like that was ingrained in her in everything. So, and also since she knew her position, she knows she couldn't be acting out like she couldn't be, you know.
well, when they talked about the other character, and I just blanked on her name, having a tattoo, right? Like she was
Josephine.
the best. Yes, Josephine. the best. And the fact that she had a tattoo was like, oh, you really don't care. Like, you're okay with standing out and you're at the top. Like, tell me more. I felt like I could read her cravings for success throughout this entire book. Like, she was like, I will give up everything. And I'm like, well, is she willing to give up everything, or does she really not have much to give?
I agree. I thought that, like, when she first said, like, when she went to the lake and they asked, what would you give? And she said everything. I'm sitting there thinking, girl, why don't you start small? Start small and lead up, because you only got 3 days.
Oh,
but you said everything.
That's it. And what was interesting is the patterns of how everyone else had just a little bit of blood, but the fact that she was pulled in completely, I was like, oh yeah, your soul gone, baby. You ain't got nothing left. They took it all.
I think she was desperate because, like you said, she's with no family, and the book did not explain specifically like what really happened to her mom and stuff. So I was kind of disappointed in that respect, but I don't think she really had much because her whole life had been this ballet. And it's basically is about to end. It's essentially like high school where, okay, high school about to end. Damn, I got to get a real job and support myself. Mama and daddy's not going to pay for nothing. Well, she was kind of at that point of my life is ballet. And I've been working really hard in school where, you know, they got to promote the best of the best, you know, top of my class. But that really doesn't mean anything kind of outside of here because we're going to real ballet companies where nobody looks like me. Historically, they don't hire people like me. And after page 50, you know they're not hiring you.
Right.
So I think she really had nothing.
Yeah.
So she was like, I'm willing to give anything to progress. You know, it's kind of like those, I don't want to go into politics, but it's like those people that don't have a pot to piss in that are willing to go to those, you know, fascist groups or whatever, because you have literally nothing
to lose.
Somebody gives you a bone for something, you're going to take it. So she was like, bathe me in the blood.
And for her, it was like a whole Thanksgiving meal where they said 3 days. She was like, give whatever you want. I felt like it wasn't even a negotiation. She was like, yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I have nothing to lose.
And I liked at the beginning of the book, like I knew it was going to be good when you have, like, you know how when you start the book, right after the author's note, you know, you have the blank page. I guess this is kind of like the forward, would it be? Yeah, before part 1. So I'm like, dang, she bathing in it.
I love it.
So I'm already know she's swimming.
I ate this book up the moment I read that page. First of all, the page is black. I was like, oh, this is that kind of book. And the fact that she bathed in it, that alone is like she gave everything.
Yeah, desperate.
Hopes, dreams, mental, body, whatever it was, she was willing to give.
Yes.
And didn't question it.
Yeah, that's desperate.
Anything that much.
You know how they say the term blind ambition?
Yes.
That was her, but it was just blind ambition, blind faith, grasping for straws. Okay. So
my husband opened the book, and you know the first page, the title page with the skull in the back. He looked at it and he was like, you better not stay up all night.
This one right here?
Yes. Yeah. He saw that and was like, you better not stay up all night with this book. I was like, look, behind nightmares.
The part that I kept going to is the page after. We're going to get to the chat real quick. Okay, y'all. I don't want y'all to think we're ignoring you. Okay,
I'm so in this conversation. I'm sorry.
Say again?
I said I was so into the conversation. I ain't even paid attention to the chat. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all
I know, girl. I've been waiting to discuss this book with somebody in the know because my husband is sick of me talking about it.
He's like, what are you talking about?
He's like, I want to play my video games. But no, you see that title page. What I kept going to, and I'm telling you, girl, probably at least 5-6 times reading this book. This quote on the page right in the back is what got me when it says, to those who find freedom in becoming a monster when denied the space to be human. Girl, I need to get that tattooed somewhere.
What I
That's
love about this author is that I describe this book as like a chill, like it's chilling, because the craving you taste when you're reading this author's words were like, dang, this is a lot. This is a lot. This
is their debut novel too,
right?
I'm like, darn, this is your debut.
The bar is high. I don't even want to write no more.
Yeah, I want to know what the author is going to write after this, because I think they have a very good perspective, good pulse on stuff. And I don't even care about ballet, but okay, let's get to chat.
We'll get into that. Center Stage. It's like a 90s, early 2000s movie.
Yeah, I remember it.
And it just made me think of Zoe. I think it's Zoe Saldana in there. That's who I kept picturing while reading this.
I originally thought that, but then I keep looking at it, and you know, Ty. I hope I'm saying her name right. I've been seeing Ty from Book Tribe, right?
Yes.
It looks like her.
Yes, I've also
maybe a little darker on here, but I'm like, this is her. Okay.
So Nell says, interesting is that I think there's multiple genres and themes going on here, because we have the suspense, the thriller, the mystery portion. But then it's like a sprinkle of like love and found family, which I wasn't expecting in this at all. I was just like, she's a loner. She's willing to risk it all. Got it. Cool. Like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make power moves. Like, even with Josephine, it was never, I'm going to be her best friend. We're going to get to know each other. It was, how can I use you as a piece or a tool to get closer to what I want? So to just like get friends out of it and start building relationships, I was like, okay, girl. Yeah. Did you lose everything or gain everything? I'm lost.
Yeah, she definitely had a lot going on in there.
Sorry, Kat. Okay, we promised you some attention.
Like I said, Nell says, okay, so you're a cozy. Nell wants to know about some cozies later, okay?
This entire section of my books on down is cozy books, so I got you.
I can get the audio from the library. Long time to get through audio, rewind. Yeah. One good thing I do like about audios, though, is that it progresses the story, because I take a longer time when I'm reading the book, because I may keep going back. Audio keeps going whether you got it or not. So that is actually teaching. I didn't have audio with this, but audio's been teaching me if it's not integral or some craziness, then don't worry that you didn't understand that last sentence.
Keep going.
Keep going, yeah. Hello, Kiana.
Hey.
Hello. Being an only African-American RN in my department. Dang. 1 of 200.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, submersive comments exist. Yep. Yeah, see, I was trying to tell some folks the other day that we're not, like, as a race, and I don't speak for all Black people. I'm going to just say for folks that I know.
Black people aren't a monolith, so you're totally free to do it.
But overall, I don't think we're the passive aggressive, because we're just used to aggressiveness in reality throughout life. I don't need you to sugarcoat some stuff.
Yes.
I'm not passive aggressive. I deal with a lot of passive aggressive stuff, and I'm just sitting there like, that is lost on me.
You're like, ma'am, that's not going to help you.
Exactly. And I'm from the South. I know what you're saying, okay? So
say what you're saying with your chest. I am considered feisty. I do work in corporate America, and I am not a silent, very quiet person at all. So I get a lot of, oh, if you want her to tell you, she'll tell you. Just be ready for her to tell you.
Exactly. I'll be quiet to a certain extent, but don't come at me. Like, my mom has always said, pick your battles. And I think that's where Lori was at. She was trying to pick her battles because she knew that this is what she got into. So I felt like she was very much aware of, and I think it's very mature at 17. She was very much aware of where she was in life and what position she was in.
Absolutely.
I just think she was delusional that if she just keeps working hard, they're going to recognize it. I'm like, girl, you need to bathe in that river.
She was willing to give it all.
Ready to give all, even the demon was like, damn girl, don't you love yourself?
I swear, in my head, that demon was like, "That's it? Like you don't want nothing else?"
That's true. He was like, yep. He was like, you willing
Like
to give
she's
that up
eager.
quick.
She's a good one. Let's pick her.
That was funny. Yeah. I love that quote. Yeah. There's some good ones in here. Getting it tattooed. Oh, the book.
That's
Yeah.
a
That
long
was,
one. You
I
better write
kept
some
coming
more.
back to that. Looking for short, cozy mysteries by Puck authors. Make sure
They're black.
that,
I mean,
yeah.
BIPOC.
I don't have time enough in the day for some of the stuff that floats through my head, and I don't have the words for the videos I want to do. But yes, just make sure they're black, because these
Do your
folks are
homework.
tripping with these cozies lately. I'm just saying.
I've learned from experience, you need to do your homework before you go and read it based on them being BIPOC and wanting to uplift their voices, because we got whole impersonators out here. Be warned.
And just because the cover looks like this, don't mean this looks like, you know what I'm saying?
And man,
I mean, I'm all for equal opportunity. I'm just saying, if you're looking for something specific,
yes,
you need to verify.
I was recommended, and I'll be vulnerable. I was recommended a cozy mystery. I read it, and something with it just didn't sit right with me. I don't know why. Everyone's like, this is a really great book. It's by a black woman, et cetera, et cetera. I read it, and it's a whole white man. I'm like, I knew something was off. I knew something wasn't quite right. So please do your homework, sweetie. But yes, I will send you a whole list of cozies. I got a ton.
Not to be completely off topic, but did you hear the one about the bacon grease? Okay, you did. Okay, we already know. Okay,
Courtney, I'm leaving. Let me get out of here.
I'm just making sure we're here. Okay,
I can't. Disappointment.
People out of control.
Sometimes.
See, luckily this is, I mean, we're in the US, but you know, it's October, so it's Black History Month in the UK, which I'm gonna start celebrating twice a year.
Same.
But if this was like February here and it's American author, I'm about to stop my TBR and start talking.
I am with you. Sign me up.
Pretty sure my boss is afraid of me because I'm, what the hell? Corporate America is weird.
I'm pretty sure everybody fears me at work because I say what everybody's thinking, but I am also very friendly if you get to know me. So people are like, we could work around it.
Say it with a smile.
She's fun. We'll keep her.
It's okay for them to be a little bit afraid and keeps people on their toes a little
Keeps
bit.
people from mistreating you, microaggressions, because they know this is not what you want.
It's like a spouse. They should always be slightly afraid of you, you know?
It's like, you never know if she's going to leave you. You know?
She makes the food. Fried chicken, but macaroni too. Okay, we can keep going. This is about this.
No COVID. No COVID.
I need more cozy mysteries for Black Queen and amateur sleuth in small town. Got duped. Okay, yeah, that's one of what I heard. Yeah, I'm not
I
recommend.
I warned you. If you need something right away, try Major G. It's being turned into a Hallmark movie right now, starring Tamara Mowry. So I recommend it. It's cute.
Okay. Oh, I got tea, by the way, in case you're thinking this is something else, just like, you know. Okay. Okay. I got like just comments here, right here. Okay. So, but I want to talk about page 50. Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. So page 50, for those of y'all that are not aware, she is at this, she just performed as the lead in the last recital at this ballet school that she's at. And this is before, I believe, that she went and bathed in the river and got power or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And so she is leaving because, you know, she knows there's no family there. You know how everybody at the end of a performance brings flowers and there's like a little reception. So she's like, I'm packing my shit. I'm out because there's nobody here for me. So she's trying to get out of there, but they want to reel her back in with their little comments and be like, this is the star of the show, and kind of parade her as a puppet, right? But this guy tells her, I just wrote down the quotes, but he tells her classical ballet wasn't made for your kind. I was like, okay. And then he said, you basically on stage force people to think of inequality and social issues. I'm telling you, I'm not saying that. I'm like, okay. And then he goes, oh, well, why don't you go to America? Because others like you do well in America. Oh,
others like you. In case no one heard that, I repeat, others like you. For the people in the back. Others.
Back of the choir. Y'all heard that, right?
Others like you. I'm sorry, what?
Just those 3 quotes alone, I'm just like.
In my head, he has like greasy hair and a bald spot. Like, in my mind, he is like the worst person to make you feel less than, because you look at him and you're like, you're a small person. Like, mentally, you're a little man. And you're just wanting other people to feel small to make you comfortable. That's what he gives me. In my mind, he's like 4'2".
In my mind, he's an American politician in Congress trying to elect the next Speaker of the House. Okay,
yes.
I'm just being real.
When I say this man is disgusting, like his teeth yellow, like he has on too tight pants and his jacket is too big. Like, that's what I see. Like, he has coffee stains on his shirt. Okay, I'm gonna stop coming at him physically.
Little man complex.
Because not only did he make his uncomfortability with her color her problem, right? Are you upset because I reminded you that you're probably a racist? Like let's just be honest. Because you're uncomfortable, you made it about her. And it said so much about that industry to me. It says so much. Oh, we think whiteness is purity and cleanliness, which indirectly makes dark tones, dark skin, negative, devil-like. Ill. Sorry, I'm not saying words anymore. I'm just making noise.
Girl, I was just dumbfounded because that was one page of this whole 48 page book. I'm just dumbfounded that one page was so poignant.
It was so poignant and deliberate, and the way it was done was a moment that she already felt fragile.
Yes.
Like, I'm already out of here. I know my family's not here. I have to witness everyone else be celebrated, even though I'm the star of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the star, and no one is here to celebrate me. And here we got Slimy McStickles coming in to say just more things to bring me down. Like, ill.
I was surprised, truthfully, that they even made her the star.
Same.
I
feel like they gave her that because they said she was saying how she has been the top of her classes. So she had a talent they couldn't deny up until a certain point.
Yeah, that's true. I still thought it was going to come out of not being enough. But yes, I agree with you on that one. And then it's like, okay, well, the real stuff begins. Like, this is play. You know, how high school is kind of like play. And when you leave, it's real life. So it's kind of like that. Almost like throwing her a bone a little bit. Like, oh, well, you can only get so far. So let's throw her a bone to appease her. So when she goes off into oblivion and doesn't progress, then she could say, you know, ooh, you know, it's almost like she peaked right there, you know?
And I feel like that was for them, that was her one opportunity to shine. I don't think they genuinely wanted to see her prevail past that point. Mm-hmm. So it was like, while others will go to these companies, at least you get to the head of the recital.
Yeah.
Ill.
Yeah, this book was crazy on that one there. Let's see. I'm pretty sure my boss. Okay, we did that one. Chicken. Need some more cozy. Oh, I'm behind. Hold up. Greasy hair ball spaghetti.
And his breath probably smells like peanuts.
He smelled like tuna sandwich. Oh my god. Yeah, they were a trip. So the ballet community, yes, is very elitism. It's very white for one. It's very
Yes.
elitism. Um, I don't know if I would say sexist because you have a little bit of everybody, but you
I
have more
think it was
females
more
there.
of like the body dysmorphia that girls probably, yeah. And just
Yes.
like, I would have loved to see more imagery around that because she talked about how they had to always be aware of what their bodies were doing, whether
Mhm.
your legs were too long, your hair was too fluffy and not in the bun enough, and just like the strategicness of being in that space. But they didn't hint on like the eating parts, like the eating disorders that comes with it, or like the mental strain outside of like just the recitals.
Mhm.
I would have loved to hear more about the people in those lines on stage with her too. I think
Mhm.
that's a, but maybe there's more. I don't know. This is the first book.
You never know. Yes. Yeah, there's definitely the whole body dysmorphia thing there and the nitpicking and being on stage, even when you're not on stage or fitting a certain image, not just the skin color, because that's one thing in this book, but it's like having perfect form and
Yes.
handling yourself a certain way, not saying certain things, but also part of being a ballerina has to do with, like who like you had Cora Lee, whose mother she was like a teacher now, right? Wasn't she a
Yep.
teacher? But she was like the ex, like
Hmm.
prima donna, like head of the school or whatever. So you have that privilege of somebody knows somebody. So it's expected that she would be too.
And what was really curious about her situation was like, I know she wasn't number one. When it came to talent, she just didn't have it.
Mm.
But she also received a lot of pressure from her mom being in that space. So for her to like come at her like, okay, I'm jumping ahead. I'm gonna get mad all over again. But I hold my friendships very dear and near to my heart. So that triggered the mess out of me that she ended up to be just like a terrible friend. And even though I always say Lauren, that's wrong. Even though she had her dreams and made this deal with the devil to be better, her friend was always a part of her success. And that's crazy. That's crazy.
I thought that was interesting that can you hear me over this fan?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So for those of y'all in the chat, so Lori, even though she, made this deal with the devil, blood for power, so she can't be denied. She pretty much made this deal just so that she can get the opportunity. She already had the talent. She made it just so that they can see me without my race being a color, being a factor. So when she
Mhm.
got on stage, it was all her. I think nobody can deny that she had the talent. It's just, are they going to give her the opportunity? Whereas you had Cora Lee that had all the privilege in the world, just not the talent. So when Lori was going through her success, like her plan was to, come up and take Cora Lee with her. That was her plan.
Mhm.
I'm going to become the top, Italy or whatever, top ballet dancer in this company, and then it's going to open up a slot and Cora Lee can slide in it. Now, how that works, I don't know. I guess she was going to use her influence because to me, I felt like other people were way more talented than Cora Lee. It just sounded like she had two left feet, like she was me or something. So
Yes.
I don't know. But her plan was to take her with her. But Cora Lee comes out and is like, no, I want you to quit and give me your spot because you cheated. You are better than that. I mean, at least she gave her a compliment. Hey, you are better than cheating because you're actually good. But I'm like, she
But
kind of,
aren't you doing the same
you.
thing?
Exactly. And not to mention, you had all this privilege, but it didn't benefit you because you're just not good enough. I was just like dying laughing. I'm like,
But
how are you gonna try to
but
deal?
I also think that's a part of like the nepo babies. It's like I deserve to have this because my family fought for me to be here.
Yeah,
And it's like, but you didn't earn it. And then you have an
exactly.
attitude because you don't have the talent to match the role. I'm sorry. Stage left, get off the stage. You're in the wrong spot.
And it also reminds me of when you have people that, it reminded me of, you know how people are always saying, oh, race isn't a factor. You know, your economic status is not a factor. If you work hard enough, you can achieve everything in life. You're just not working hard enough. That's why certain groups are continuing to not succeed in life, because you're not working hard enough, right? But then they have all the privilege, white privilege or otherwise, because there's a few different privileges.
Yes.
That is helping you succeed, right? But then when the tables are flipped, now I'm
getting the upper hand and it's not
now
fair.
you're going to say this foul play.
So which one is it?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Is it only okay when you are the benefit? Like, are you the one benefiting? Is that when it's okay?
Exactly. And then she goes to what I call it, Lethe. She goes to the White River and gets power. You already have enough privilege, and now you're getting even more with the White River, and you calling me a cheat because I'm at the Red River.
At that point, she was poisoned. At that point, it was absolutely drunk off power.
It was out of
and
control.
any type of intimidation of that, she was not prepared for. Because in her mind, right, she's like, things will go back to the way it used to be, which was never like, I want you to be successful too. It was like, I want you to be my flunky so I can feel better about my role, because someone has to be at the bottom. And it's like, girl, bye.
Yeah, you want me to just follow behind you. And you know what's funny? It's okay. You know how Laura, which I thought this was funny. You know how Lori went to the school and made them give her a raise, right? I'm like, you go, girl.
Because you're not going to play with my girl. She gave up her soul. Y'all not going to play with her.
She was like, give me 500. No, double that. Okay.
You can double it. Y'all got it.
Yeah, but then she takes Coralie on a little shopping spree and tries to buy her jewelry, and she yells at her, I don't wear costume jewelry.
Again, her valuing her way more. I genuinely think she saw her as her found family. She was like, you're the only person that's here with me, not realizing that you were just her pet. And that's just what it was. She saw her as a pet. Like, you go where I go, you do what I do, you eat what I eat, but you never are supposed to be the owner of the house. And the moment she got her own keys, it was a problem.
Yep. I completely agree. I completely agree. She was always okay with her as long as she did not excel further. Because she was like, oh, they're just letting anybody in. Yeah.
And here's what makes me the most angriest. So when her mom was going off because she didn't get a role, she made her mom chill. She controlled her mom's mind to back up, lay off of her. And I actually felt sorry for her in that moment. In the end of the story, I was like, you should have let her mama cuss her out. You should have let her mom go ham in public at that restaurant. And the dad was so disconnected, he didn't even know where he was or what was going on.
She should have never made him put his cell phone in the water. He needed it because he was just like out there.
Call help. Call 911.
I couldn't believe Coralie called her a street thug.
The way I was reading and my mouth dropped, I was like, oh, we fighting up below the belt now. Okay. That's why your mama always cussing you out.
Yeah. I was curious though. They never did say like how they found like they didn't confirm that her mother like went to the river, like the White River or whatever. So, you know, because she just assumed, like Lori assumed that, oh, her mother's doing this.
Yeah.
But they never confirmed the mother was really involved. She just wanted her to succeed and was disappointed.
In my head, there's a book 2 coming. Like everything that wasn't answered, I'm like, oh, that's a book 2. It has to be a 2.
Let's see. I'm looking at my notes here. But yeah, she was definitely
his name. It was one person. What was his name? It was the one that I'm about to spoiler for those who are planning on reading.
We're spoiling. We are spoiling.
Okay. The one who died
Josephine.
Josephine's boyfriend.
Zero. That's why I say Zero.
Yep, we gonna call him that. He was an interesting character. He was very much like very abrasive in the beginning and kind of towards the end. But I feel like his character only had two different emotions.
I'm just putting it on the screen so we can go through it as we go.
It's not that bad, I promise. It's not that bad.
Yeah. So what about his emotions? Like real frivolous or
he was just kind of all over the place for me. Because at first he seemed like the loving boyfriend, of course, with Josephine. But then he was just like, oh, she died? Okay.
Yeah, detached. Yeah.
It's like, oh, is he all right?
I think he was in shock, and then he got killed off, and I'm like, well, I guess that was that.
That word. I can't even talk. I can't even talk. I felt like before we could even get to know him, he was gone. I'm like,
yeah.
Sir, are you all right? And then the new girl that came along, I was just like, who are you? I just felt like she came out of nowhere.
I was confused about Katara, right? Because remember, she was there and then they brought her up and she nonchalantly came up with, I think, Zero, and they said her hands were bloody. So I was under the impression that she had just been sacrificed or whatever to the Red River. And so she was a new girl in the new family. But then they said she knew and hung with Josephine. So I was confused about how long has she been around. I thought she just came up.
But that's the part I didn't get because we didn't hear anything of her before that.
Yeah.
So like, did Josephine like present her to the river, or did he?
I thought he did because she said he found me, but when she talked like she knew Josephine, but Josephine was dead by that time. So that's the part that I was like,
and I'm so curious because they keep talking about the river wants them, and I'm like, why? Is nobody concerned?
Yeah, and then they said the river, we gotta feed it or something. And I'm like, does the one next person have to introduce somebody new? I was waiting for something about that to come up of, hey, okay, Josephine brought you. Now you need to find somebody else.
Yeah.
And how to bring Cora Lee. And I was like, wow, that's what I was thinking.
Like, why we got this girl in our house?
Yeah, I'm like, I was thinking the plot angle was going to be, okay, she got her ambition. She's the top. Because you know how Josephine, she became this top person. Everybody wants to be like her. Well, then now we got Lori, right? So then I'm thinking, okay, she going to bring Cora Lee, sacrifice her to the river. And then Cora Lee and her are going to battle for top supreme because Cora Lee going to try to get her spot. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Oh. See, I thought she was going to die or she was a demon. I was like, she is the manifestation of the river and she's coming to collect. I just thought she was going to be the one to flip the story upside down. And when she did, I was like, girl, what was your point? Like, who invited her?
That's true. Meaning a diversity quota. Therefore, not the tuna. Oh my gosh. I wrote something in here. Oh, one thing I will say though that I'm just going through my notes as we go. But for one, I thought that as much as she kept talking about her, and there was like lesbianic vibes in there, right? With the other girl. Yeah. I was thinking when she kept saying she loved her, I'm thinking, is there gonna be a little romance with Cora Lee? And or maybe she had a crush, but I guess it wasn't that. But I will say that I think that I thought that they had kind of like a love-hate relationship because at times I was like, she recognizes this girl's privilege and she does seem like she's kind of upset by it. But then next thing you know is like, oh, this is my homegirl. And I'm like, do you like her or do you not like her?
It came off like a little bit of obsession with her.
Yeah.
Like her closeness to her brought her to like closer to her goals eventually. But then she used to always comment on like how beautiful she was and how proportioned she was. I'm like, girl, you trying to say she cute? What's going on? You like this girl?
That's what I thought.
Very much like, if I can't be with you, I'll be your friend.
And then for that girl, Sabine or was it Sophie?
So,
Was she with her because she liked her, or was she trying to get ahead? I was kind of confused if she really wanted the girl.
see, that's the part. A part of me thinks it was a combination of both. And I say that because I feel like everything she did was like a checker move.
Mhm.
But like for her to get some kind of pleasure out of that, I wouldn't put that aside her either. Because
Yeah.
what she wants, she's gonna go get.
Yes.
I was wondering if there would be able. I hope
Yeah.
so.
We'll see.
If you
We'll
find out
see.
before me, you let me know.
Yeah, but I was thinking that when she was with her, I was like, fine, but then you had this little romance that came up with Andor. And when it came to Andor, I was trying to figure out initially, is she, because you know how he sacrificed for beauty, right?
Beauty.
And so even though he's a monster, there's a lot of beauty in that as well. So I'm like, is she attracted to him because of that beauty aspect, or if she really does like him? So that just kind of threw me off
Or
too.
does
And then
the
later on,
monster
when
in
they
him
kiss, I'm
resonate
like,
with the
oh, he's
monster in
toxic.
her?
Say that again.
I said, does the monster in him resonates with the monster in her?
It could be, or maybe they're too lonely soul that hey, we're in the same boat.
I feel like at some point the sacrifice they were willing to give, I feel like that brought them closer because she never demonized her choices, right?
Mhm.
Just like, oh, that's bad, that sucks, or I shouldn't have done that. But she never was like, I'm a terrible person.
Mhm.
And there was a point where she was like, I don't know if it's his beauty that's attracting me right now because I'm feeling something different. So I feel like she was like genuinely attracted to him.
She was, and I think she confirmed it when she lost her powers before she went and got them back. She did confirm that, okay, I don't have any of the Red River monster in me, but I still think he's beautiful.
But he's still a baddie.
Yeah, it's still a baddie, yeah. But I was waiting for them to kiss and then her to be writhing in pain or something, because I'm like, dang, dude.
I was so mad. I wanted that kiss. I was like, it's gonna happen. This is
Too
gonna be
bad
so
this is
sweet.
YA, because I wanted a little.
Just a little peck. Just a little hurry up and give me a kiss for my mom come outside kind of thing. They gave me nothing.
It's like, oh, I can't touch him. And then the whole four eyes thing, I don't know. I was just like, okay.
Oh, that freaked me out.
Let's see. I'm just going down my list here.
And the fact that he was like an artist too, he just gave me vampire vibes. I don't know why. Because they always talk about how beautiful vampires are, but they're still monsters. And the fact that he was like all artsy and whatnot, I was like, is this Edward Cullen? What is going on? This man, who is he?
I had questions about, okay, we know she goes up in the real world and the fake world down below or whatever, right? Which I still have questions about. They walk to this place. How come nobody else has found it? But that's another question.
No one thought, where y'all going?
Yeah, I mean, as much as the catacombs down there, people go down there.
All
so
the time.
I don't understand why this is just hidden, but I digress. So, but I was curious. Okay, he sprouts horns and all this stuff and interchanges and stuff. I'm like, does he live here or is he above? Where does Hondu live? I don't know. And does other people see him in the shadows and all this stuff?
I did not even pick up on that. You got a point.
When she first saw him, it was at some auditions, and she saw him in a corner sketching, and he was like having little shadow puppets or something around him, blinking in and out. And then later on, when she met him and they would hang out, he would go interchange between his horns and his four eyes and then a normal dude. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I had an issue in which I'm all for whatever, but I just think it's an interesting plot thing to where you're talking about belonging and life and people accepting you who you are, and her being in this school where she's been fighting for acceptance all her life. But then you have 3 Black people in the whole book, and then he just happens to be Black and they get together. I'm like, I mean, to each his own, but I'm just like,
there you go. Well. Touche. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Where does he? Is he homeless? No.
I don't know. At the end of the book, remember when there was all the drawings and stuff?
Yes.
And she said something about my class is ending or semester or something, and he had all these drawings of her and everybody else. I'm like, where's he taking class? And how is he not
He
able
ain't
to?
saying nothing about school all this time, sir. What do
Yeah.
you do with your time?
Yeah. So I don't know. He ain't got no job.
That means gonna be a book too. Whole time he homeless.
Yeah. I thought he couldn't kiss her because he is poison. Yes. Didn't he almost kill her?
But still, she already half gone. We can let her have a little smooch.
Well, I think when she is with Acheron, that's the river, when she has that monstrous blood in her, she can kiss him. It makes her a little sick, but the river heals her. But when she was fully human, when Acheron disappeared out of her, then they couldn't kiss on the lips. But to me, a kiss is a kiss. He kissed her on the forehead. I guess maybe they couldn't exchange saliva.
It was cutesy.
Yeah, but I'm
cute.
just like,
little peck respect.
I liked wearing everything white. Oh, that's Cyril, right? Yeah. Yeah. He was going for the beauty aspect with his rich tail. I like how in the end, since he was dead, Andor got all his money. Well,
since he was dead.
Yeah, he was dead. But Andor got his money, and so she got it. So if y'all are participating in For the Culture Readathon, I think there's a Rags to Riches that fits the prompt.
There you go. Perfect book.
I feel like he lives underground but can go into the real world. Remember, he said he asked for immortality so he could see all the beauty. And that's
right.
Okay. So maybe people don't see that.
I totally forgot he asked for that.
Yeah, he said he did like 4 different things. He should have a whole sleeve tattoo, not just the river. Yeah, that was.
And the fact that when they died, the tattoo disappeared. Does that mean that the river never dies? It just finds new host?
Wait, say that again?
So you know how when they died, their tattoo from the river is gone. Does that mean the river never dies? It just finds new hosts?
Probably. I think it compels them to find new people. Because notice in the end, she was trying to find a new
get that other.
But they didn't just die though. It was like
burned.
Well, no, because was she under the thing before? She was human when she almost died, and then she got the whole power. But it was burnt off. That was when they lost their power.
Okay.
You know what you're saying? I think.
The fact that she had Josephine's phone all that time and didn't tell nobody. I just found that so funny. Like
I watched true crime. I was waiting for them to extrapolate that it's at her apartment. Okay.
She don't care about nothing and nobody. She said, "Y'all get it when I'm done with it." She did not care.
Finds new replenishment. Yep, that's true. Yeah, I was just like, Yeah, I thought she was going to see the girl, but when she went there and she realized she was dead, she was like, "Well, I'm only here for one thing anyway." I was like, dang.
I came for what I came for, and I'm not leaving until I get it.
Exactly, man. She
was woman is dead on the floor, and she did not flinch. I don't know that kind of passion for nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let's see.
Do you have a favorite character?
I like Andor because, he kind of represents that nature aspect. I like how he can just make a flower exist, and I thought that was really kind of beautiful. And then, even in his monstrous state, he was still beautiful, So I did like that.
I can appreciate that. I liked this character because they were awful. Was the teacher she had a conversation with afterwards when she quit.
Augur. Yeah.
Perfect villain. Perfect villain. It's like, I'm done with you guys. And they're just like, okay, you sure you want to do that? Like, I love a good villain. And I feel like Laura, like, honestly, she was the perfect villain that convinced us to root for her. She was bad. She was breaking legs, people were falling down, controlling minds. But we rooted for her the whole time.
Yeah,
I was rooting for her.
That's because they did her dirty.
Mad and had to like hold her teeth. I was like, poke him in the eye, like. Villain error.
I thought that when she came in and she saw the girl, Cora Lee, had already taken her spot and she had her legs, she was stretching. Remember when the other girl, Olivia, she made her fall down and break herself? I'm thinking she about to do the same thing to Cora Lee, and she didn't. She just went and bum rushed her.
Those girls were mean girls.
Yes, definitely.
And the fact that it was something along the lines of like, I'm just another person in their way and it's going to be the same. So I don't even react to it anymore.
Yeah.
Like they were terrible. It was just a different face. Instead of Josephine, it was her.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they just some haters.
That teacher in the end that you were talking about, I thought it was interesting that when she went to the office, right? Because remember, she was like, I want to see you in the office because she had been late, or she didn't show up because she was at the hospital and stuff. Nobody called her. Nobody was like, oh, I'm sorry you're sick. But I thought it was interesting. She called her to the office and she was talking about, don't be late. We got this offer or whatever for you. And then when she's like, no or whatnot, am I getting my scenes confused? Hold up. Yeah, she was like, no, I don't want the off. No. This was when she was quitting, when she went there at the end to quit.
Yeah.
Right. But they were making it seem like, hey, don't be late. Okay. All this other stuff. But then
they started it off like you just need a stern talking to.
Yeah. But then when she walked out, it was like, I'm out. Deuces. The girl goes, the woman goes, well, we already gave your spot away yesterday. Anyway, hold up. You talking to me.
Which one is it?
Like, we just don't be late. Do better. But then you go around, hey, I already gave your slot away yesterday. While you were still in the hospital.
Because she was always one step ahead. She's like, we fired you. We just didn't tell you.
Exactly. What, I'm supposed to show up and realize somebody else is in my
show
spot?
up, be ready to get on stage so I could tell you on stage that you're no longer a part of this. Like, she was that kind of villain.
That's true. Oh, well, Pat, what happened was when she swiped the phone, they did say that she did the unlock at the time to make sure she disabled all the stuff so she can go back into it, which is smart. Homegirl is smart because most of us would have just swiped it and rolled out, but she made sure
left and couldn't get back in.
Exactly. She disabled all that stuff right at the time by it, though. I think he lived by the lake. Yeah. Okay. Well, that must have supplied everything he needed then. Yeah.
He definitely
had some addition there for sure. Let's see. Do you think that, okay, if you know how Lori used Acheron's, that's the lake, used the lake to basically get herself in the door, right? But she definitely had talent. People saw that. Now her goal was to eventually become head dancer and then no longer need Acheron, right? Yeah. Do you think she would have been able to sustain that without that power once she got where she wanted to be?
See, that's such a hard answer, because here my brain does a lot of cartwheels around this, because in my mind I'm like, she would have to live with the fact that she had all of these opportunities based on Acheron. But once that was no longer in play, would it be a big difference? Like, because not only did it allow her to manipulate other people, it allowed herself to manipulate herself too. So instead of her being exhausted, not necessarily talent-wise, but like energy-wise, it kept her energized. It kept her on stage. It kept her going. And I feel like the older you get in that space, the harder that is to do. So I feel like the more she would have gotten opportunity, the more she would have felt the need to have it.
Yeah.
Like an addiction. It would have become an obsession. Like, I got to be my best. Because if you notice, it was never about her talent. It was always her getting opportunity. And in that space, there's always the next dance, the next performance, the next company. I feel like she would have used it for all of her performance wise. But I also felt like Acheron would have never released her. Like, it would have always been another deal to be made. Disabled GPS. Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the phone for there. Yeah, I think that once she got there, okay, I think you get addicted to that power. So I think the idea that if she's there, like if she's already in the position, they can't really fire her, even though everybody hates her, which is a whole nother ball game. Of she kept trying to appease these people that have made it very clear they don't like you, no matter how much talented you are. I mean, which they probably don't like you because you have talent. Like, look at Simone Biles, right? Amazing. Yeah. Gabby Douglas, Simone Biles. They're doing shit that other people can't. People hate them for that because they can't achieve it. So they want to change standards for that, right? People that want to hate you will hate you regardless of whether you have talent or whether you don't have talent. So continuing to appease these people is not going to endear them to you. So I think once she gets into a position, if she does not have Acheron, once that position or that ballet thing ends, you're constantly have people gunning for you. Yes. So you've gotten to the top, but I feel like somebody's going to do something because they're sticking pins and needles in her friggin' toe, shoes and stuff.
They are literally sabotaging you. Like, it's going to be a point where you need security because you have so many enemies just being a star. Girl, I feel like Josephine died right before that became an issue for her.
That's true. That's true. Because they were already spreading rumors about her all the time already. That's crazy.
Oh, she thinks she's so perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now, before we go into the world of ballet, I want to ask this. You know how they said that, okay, Paris classical ballet is not for your kind, right? I'm still on that. But he said, why don't you go to America? They'll be more receptive. Now, we live in America, right? I've only known a one black ballet, dancer, right? Now, she tried a lot, and she kind of light. So from a distance, she blends in with the rest, okay? So I'm just saying, what do you think of that? You really think that would be a true statement that she would fit in more here in American ballet?
No. And what's so irritating here, what I've noticed outside of the country, it's less performative in the sense of, oh, you're black or you're this or that. It's very much you're American. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, you're black. Mm-hmm. So for them, it's very much like elitism for the country and then elitism for the race. So you're going to double whammy. So when he said that, I was just kind of like, damn, you're an ass. Like, you didn't even try to like sprinkle a little sunshine on it. And to say something like be an American dancer, knowing that the elitism that they believe, it's just saying take a step down. It's just saying take a step down. You'd never make it here. Go away. Like, we prefer you to go back to where you come from. That's where it came from for me. Because I was like, are you serious? Like, we know certain cultures, companies, countries like certain things. In France, London, Paris, that space, they're all about the Juilliards and all about that function, which is why she's been there that long trying to make it. So for him to just say, go back to America was like, girl, bye, you don't have a chance.
Exactly.
And I would have muffed him. I would have been like, look here, sir. You're old and you're greasy.
I completely agreed on that one. This was just a shocker. I agree with you on that one, is the idea that they're just saying, hey, we want to get rid of you. We don't want to see you because, like he said, you make us think of social justice issues. And we come here to get away from your kind and what your kind brings to the table and reminds us of what we did, right?
Your privilege.
Yeah.
It makes you uncomfortable.
Exactly. You make them uncomfortable. So I saw that, but then I just immediately started thinking, she ain't gonna fare much better here.
No, because that's not a thing. It's just like ice skating. When I was younger, I loved ice skating. And some of the best ice skaters have been disqualified because they do things that the others can't. And guess what color they are? Black. They are doing things that they say it has to be illegal. No one should be able to do that.
Remember Syria Bonali, that French girl back in the day? The one leg backflip?
Right?
Yep.
And people are like, since everyone else can't do it, we're going to say it's going to disqualify you. And that's really what he was saying. I can't disqualify you based on your talent, but I can disqualify you in other spaces, other reasons. And I think that was his way of doing it. Go back to America. They'll accept your kind more. Ew. He's just greasy. I feel like he has a comb he keep in his top pocket where he don't even comb the top, he just combs the sides.
Was he the one that she made pee his pants, or was that somebody else? That one was classic.
It was deserved. That's what I meant. That I was rooting for her in her villain era, because every time she got one of them back, I was like, yes, do it. Don't apologize.
Hey, anybody in the chat, if y'all have some questions, feel free to ask us, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Something you want to talk about. But okay, so do you have a question? I'm just rattling off some stuff.
Oh, we've been going back and forth. I'm loving this.
Okay.
I guess, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The ending. When they had the face-off, best friends, roommates. Give me your play-by-play reaction.
We should have done more. She like bum rushed her and stuff. And I'm like, girl.
Like she football tackled her. And that's all I saw in my brain was a football tackle. I was like, that's it?
But then she dragged her through the crowd outside. I'm like, is she literally dragging homegirl? I'm like, hold up. You can let that be a black girl dragging a white girl through a crowd. People gonna say something. But you got this white girl literally dragging this black girl, and people just
oh my. Help.
Can I have another champagne? I'm just
this is a part of the show.
And then she threw it down the steps. What in the world? I'm gonna burn that building down too.
No one was like, call the cops. No one's like, help. All of these people are watching you get physically abused in rage of your friend.
Girl, that was Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars. That's what that was.
Everyone was in shock. They're just like, anybody gonna jump in? No, all right, I'm gonna stay in my seat.
That was the Oscars all over. People just watching and they ain't gonna say nothing.
Can you imagine that kind of, you're in a room full of people watching someone get beat up and nobody moves?
Girl, it happens. People, this is the news. There was some girl that got, I mean, not to get too out of this, but there was some girl that got SA'd, like deep SA, you know what I'm talking about? On a train in, I think, New York, a full subway train, and nobody did nothing.
I don't come from that space. Okay. My shock is not a thing.
Get involved.
It's so.
But maybe they don't care. This is a white space and an elite white space. They're like, well, she's getting what she.
They hit her with a security. Will break it up. Security got it, honey. Grab your coat.
Girl, that's why I was happy. She stole. What did she? When she went to the lockers, she like broke some mirrors and lights, and then
I wish she would have did more.
I know. Girl. Now. Girl,
still a wallet or two.
When she did that wish of, which I didn't understand, by the way, at the beginning of the book, she was like, see me, like issuing commands, do this, do this. At the end, she was like, I can't wait for this building to burn down. Or I wish, or I, it was kind of like passive aggressive commands with Acheron instead of legit commands. Like, burn this bee down. Like, that's what you should say. When I leave,
feel like her emotions got in the way of it.
Huh?
I think she just got too emotional to the point that Acheron was like, say what you want.
Yeah.
And she was just saying what she felt.
Yeah.
It went from like, do this to, I feel everything and I hate this place and it's terrible. And Acheron's like, okay, that's not something I could.
Yeah, it's not a command. You didn't do nothing. Yeah. I remember that quote in the essay at the train. It was wild. Everybody would just watch. Yep.
See, I'm the oldest of it's 10 of us, baby. My reaction to things is very quick. So when people are like, chill, I'm already doing something. I can't help it. You got to remember, when kids are around, your mind is always going.
Yeah.
So in me, I think that is something embedded in me. When something's moving, when someone's slipping, I'm always the first person to catch them. Mm-hmm. So when stuff is happening, I'm already like in go mode. So when they're like, this is a big crowd and nobody's doing anything, I'm already in the middle of the fight. Like I'm already in between them. What is happening? Nothing. I broke it up.
What's horrible about this particular situation, though, and going to the racial component of the movie, it was,
People was watching and recording this?
Yeah, they have a yeah, it was a whole thing recorded. But what sucks is that it was a Asian, like I think a Chinese woman, young woman, she was legal, but young woman, and it was
Mhm.
a black dude, if I'm not mistaken. And
Mm.
I'm like, are people reluctant to intercede with certain demographics? I don't know. I was just sitting there like, okay. It just made me upset that it was somebody that looked like us when we get a bad rap enough already. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Maybe that has something to do, like, kind of with this book. Like I said, you got this white girl dragging this black
Yeah,
girl to the
because for
lobby, and
some
nobody did
people, they
nothing.
say our cries is not responded the same way of others.
Hmm.
When you're
Yeah,
POC, they're just like, okay, you deal with it on your own. While it's them, it's like damsel in distress, save the
exactly.
day
The whole world
on the
has to
horse.
stop. Yep.
I don't know why this is horse, but we go move on from that.
Let's see. Oh, I got a question here. You got another question? You want me to ask this one?
No, you good.
Okay, so for one, do you know French or anything in French? Okay, because I glossed over a lot of these words. Okay,
I
because I'm
googled
like,
some
I
of
don't
it.
know. Or I made up what they say, like
Oh,
"Courtio."
even better.
Shabushka. I don't even think that's the term. I was just like, okay.
I
That's
was
why I
like, that sounds like something from Mickey Mouse. I think this is what it meant.
So you had that, but then they were like, okay, so you have the French, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you have this elitism world of ballet. Does
Yes.
this book endear you in any way more to the ballet or to potentially be a ballet dancer?
No. I've been to ballets. I've seen ballet. I've enjoyed ballet. I think if anything, I think this separates ballet. It puts it kind of in the same bucket as opera for me, where the elitism of it stops it from being valuable to the everyday person because it's like you don't fit in, you're not welcomed. But because of that, it dies off. And this is another conversation I've had with friends, which is certain art styles, because they weren't willing to accept more people as who they are, it dies away. So
Hmm.
I feel like they could be elite until it doesn't exist anymore. It's
Hmm.
very much a smaller and smaller circle until the circle doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's what makes it elite, that you have less people there. It's like an expensive restaurant. You don't let
Right?
a whole lot of people in. So the exclusivity is what makes it great. It don't necessarily have to be that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then they get upset when they say and then start saying things like, "Oh, the love of the opera, the love of the ballet is dying and the youth doesn't understand the value it brings." But it's like it's kind of your fault. You made it that way.
Yeah. No, I agree. You don't want to sit there and look like the odd man out. But yeah, I don't like to support something that I don't feel like I am valued in if I showed an interest or if I have a talent.
Yes.
Like you have those people that are violinists and all this other stuff. But it's like, okay, you have this severe, awesome talent in it, but you show up and are like, why are you here? So I got to
Yep.
have money to. So basically, if you're a black person, in order to get ahead, you have to have some sort of elitism attached to it. It's not like raw talent that can
Yes.
get you where you need to be. It's not like football or something like that, where you can have
Hmm.
a talent and you can get, you get in front of the scouts, regardless of your background, you can succeed, right?
And even when you get in those spaces, it is you are approached with this abrasive sense of stereotypes.
Yep.
It's like I got so far to be here and I'm still being considered
Yep.
the whatever, you know?
And it's an uphill climb every step of the way. At some point, you would think that, hey, I've gotten to where I'm good, I'm at the top of my game. It should be kind of smooth sailing.
Right?
But
And
you're
let me
like, I'm
just
still
say,
proving myself.
those spaces are so cutthroat and brutal.
Mhm.
They like, you're 5 years old trying to be a ballerina, and they're like, she's too stocky. She got to get out of here. She's too short. Her legs aren't long enough. Her neck's too big. You're like, my
Yeah.
neck's too. Like, they do not hold anything
Yes.
back.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, it's
I'm not
Horrible.
a fit
Yes.
for it.
It dictates your life though. Like just being in that space, just being in a like specifically ballet, because there's a certain standard in a lot of different things that dictates the entire life around it. But
Yeah.
it's like you start small though. Like it's not like you can be 18 and decide, oh, I'm going to
I'm
train
be
to
a
be a
ballerina.
ballerina. No, you need to be in ballerina by the age of 2 or 3, which means you probably have to have a mama that
And that's
so
what
that
makes it funny that she wasn't good. Her friend wasn't good because she started young and she still wasn't good.
exactly. And she had all the money. Hell, Lori was pickpocketing and stealing just to buy tights.
Just to make it. She didn't crave it enough. That's what it is. She wanted to follow her mother's wants. And honestly, I still, to my heart of hearts, felt like she didn't want to be a ballerina anyway.
I think she just wanted to appease her mother and feel like she fit into the spaces she was in and that she was good enough. That's what Coralie wanted. But I don't think she actually really cared about ballet itself.
Because she was never reactional to not being a part of ballet. It was all about disappointing her mom and how she should have been number one. I think it was more about power than anything.
Pat says she went to ballet classes and they said basically, she said, you ain't good enough. That's what they told you.
I told you they are cutthroat.
They pat you on the back and be like, it's okay, baby. Just go run track.
They're like, go ahead to preschool now.
I'm surprised they didn't say, you know how they always put with the little black girls, why don't you go try the jazz class, the jazz
tap? The tapping school. Terrible.
Oh my god, that's too bad. Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that world either. All the jumping around, like it's a workout. You don't even need to work out outside of that. You're sweating, bloody toes. I've seen ballet people's feet. They are jacked up.
Toes disconnected, discombobulated.
Toenails missing.
Respectful. It's terrible. And as a person who's been an athlete, because I was a cheerleader for years, they would always make jokes like, I'm not a ballerina. Because they'll be like, jump harder, kick harder. I'm like, I'm not a ballerina. I can't do this. Y'all trying to kill me. It's terrible.
Bonnie be like, what do you say? Talk to your mama.
Argue with your mama, baby, not me. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it was too much. I was surprised because, you know, ballet dancers, their weight and all this other stuff. And like you said, they didn't really delve. They touched on it a bit, but didn't really delve into it. But, you know, they were going to the clubs and drinking alcohol. And I'm like, you're allowed that as a ballet person?
Right.
I was shocked.
Those girls were, I feel like they tried to spruce it up with like the club hopping dancing part. Yeah. Because honestly, I feel like ballerinas wouldn't risk anything to not show up to class the next day.
Exactly.
Them toes ain't toes.
Kiana says she glad her baby's in hip hop. And your baby be doing well. I be seeing them IG posts.
Man, that baby gonna shine because that ballerinas, them hearts is crushed early.
Yeah, you're not trying to. It's like them little Japanese shoes. You know, they have the little small feet. When you know it was an elite thing that the girl doesn't walk, so they crush the feet early.
Oh my goodness.
Girl, I'm not with that. I was told early on I had no coordination. Hell, I walked with my husband yesterday somewhere and I was eating a pickle and walking, which why I don't know. But I was stumbling all over myself. And he was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, you know, I can't eat and walk at the same time. You've been with me for 10 years. You know that.
That's very much like my sister. She's very clumsy, which I worry because she's currently pregnant. So I'm like, be careful. But we were cheerleading together and she was known as Oops. Because she fell a lot all the time. I have pictures of us in performances with her having band-aids on her forehead because she always was falling. Like, it's bad. It's bad.
Sometimes you grow out of it. I used to be really clumsy and it used to be dangerous to other people around me too. But I've kind of grown out of that. But every once in a while it comes up and my husband's like, why'd you hit me? I was like, why are you near me? And it's sad because I have realized as much as he complains, he is the same way. Oh. I'm surprised we have not broken bones.
And that hurts too, so don't do it.
Exactly. Yeah. But back to this book. So the club, right? Remember they were in the club and the other third black dude in the book, Alain, came up, right? He was talking about, remember he brought her water.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't drink. So that's another venture into this whole world of ballet of you gotta go along to get along, and you don't want to be in a club, you don't drink, but you are still with these folks
Toxic.
because you feel like you have to rub noses with them.
Right.
And then they tell her, oh, why don't you go to the bar and get our drinks? She can't even drink, barely got in the club, and they saying, hey, go get our drinks.
The fact that she couldn't even get into the club.
Exactly. But I was really happy when she was like, she got pissed and she told them, commanded, forget the drinks. And she just took their money.
Thank you. She was robbing everybody.
Exactly.
Again, I was rooting for her the whole time.
Yes.
I don't know what that says about me, but I was rooting for her and her bill of error. The fact that she couldn't get into the club and they were just like going on about their business, they didn't even care. Like to have to constantly associate yourself with people who do not value you whatsoever.
Yep.
Terrible person.
Yeah, I was
have to smile and act like it's all okay, no big deal. Ew.
The whole time I kept telling her, I kept saying, because the whole book, it didn't never let up, that she kept trying to seek validation from these people. And I'm like, why? But I think it's because, like we were saying earlier, is that she has no family, and if she doesn't have ballet and these people, then who is she? Because she surrounded her entire life around ballet. But I was just sitting there like, your dad is reaching out to you.
I wanted more.
Why are you mean? I thought she was kind of business about her family. I don't know why. She had an attitude at the beginning. I was trying to figure out, am I going to like this girl or not?
And then the dad was actually like, I feel like it had to be something horrifying because the dad was like, I bought tickets. I like he was trying, but she was just like, yeah, no, okay, whatever, no, I'm
exactly. Good. And then, but I did like though in the end that he right to the comment. Yes, I liked in the end with the dad that he actually apologized to her for not being there. So it did seem like, you know, with the prologue. What's at the end? Is that the epilogue at the end? Yeah, well, whatever the end, where, you know, they seem like that they are maybe trying to get a relationship going kind of briefly. You know, she's open and receptive to a relationship, but I do like that he did acknowledge his faults for not being there. And hell, that's more than most of us get. So I was like, okay, girl, you better take that.
They said it's not me. And that's huge. And I feel like he may not know all the right things to say, but the fact that he was trying, that gave him a lot of credit.
Yeah, he showed up.
Yeah, I just wish we would have found out what was going on with mom.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Yeah,
she just hate her, and I'm like, girl, what'd she do?
Yeah, she just said she left. She chose to leave, and then the dad kind of checked out after that. I'm like, why would the mom just leave her baby? I was disappointed. I would say that was probably my biggest thing in the book that I felt was missing of what happened to mom, to where this girl just disappeared, because obviously they cared about her, that they allowed her and paid for schools and for ballet, because she didn't get to Paris just on her own,
off the luck of wanting to go, right?
Exactly. You know, she had to get into this ballet school. She had to have some sort of chops in ballet, which means she was trained prior to. And you got all these recitals, so y'all just forking over money and not even like there, like I don't know.
Nothing. Is her mom American? I forgot how she ended up. Like, is her dad there, or is her mom from there?
That's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up. I don't know if I missed it. Yeah, so she's American. She was in America. You're over in Paris. How did Daddy get here? I thought he was American.
Same.
So I don't know. And yeah, Pat, you're right. There was a stepmother.
I'll give him extra brownie points in my book. Did he move because you were there, Or
That's what
is
I
your
was
mom
thinking.
still in America and that's why you don't see her? Like, what's going on?
Well, she just X'd out the mom. Apparently, the mom just didn't
She
want nothing.
booted mama, okay? Mom does not exist.
Yeah, I was curious about dad though. I didn't know really what his deal was if he because they didn't say what his nationality or whatever not national nationality was and why is he in Paris.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The
Maybe they moved there together
stepmom,
and then he abandoned her. I don't know, but that was nuts.
the
Um,
stepmom never showed neither. I remember them mentioning stepmom, but I don't remember. No, stepmom and her never interacted. Or am I making that up?
I don't know.
I don't think they did. I think he mentioned a new wife or a new person, but they never interacted with each other, which is interesting. I don't know. Those parent children relationships can be very complex. It could be
Yes.
the one time you missed that apple in my lunchbox to it was the most important day of my life and you missed it. So it could get real complicated real fast.
What did you think of the whole found family with Andor and Ciro and Katara and stuff?
Let me tell you, I loved it. I love that she valued something more than ballet. Because although I feel like throughout this story, we see her disconnection from ballet and more of a connection to people. Because although she loved her friend slash roommate, they didn't really, you don't really see their shared connection because she ends up being crazy. But the fact that she found people who actually cared about her, that she was willing to step away from ballet with, like there was this scene where they all went out for the first time and she was just like, this is what it feels like to
This
have
is
people
friends.
care, right? Like this,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. And think about it. She was always surrounded by people. She just never had a connection with them. So loved it. Love that part that she actually found people who cared about her and valued her. That,
Yeah.
yes.
It sucks to be lonely in a room full of people, and I feel like that's what she was. Like she didn't have family. You have these big recitals where she gets to star. She's the top of her class for 6 years, but you have nobody to really share that with, you know. And then Coralie, hell, she's about my mother, this and whatever. But I just felt it was just really sad
Yeah.
that she doesn't have anybody. Like she's the odd man out in this space. Nobody knows what she's going through, nor do they care.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you have nobody.
So
So
much
I
so
thought it
that
was
you're
really cool
getting
that she
beat up and
finally
nobody
had.
helps.
Yeah.
That's
So
how
it was
much they
cool.
care about you.
Yes. And then she finally got that little, you know, little sluggy with Andor. But I think her and Josephine were attempting to have a relationship
I
because
don't
Josephine
trust
saw
that
something in her.
though.
Huh?
See, I battle with this. I battle with that because I feel like Josephine was kind of her ticket out of like getting what she wanted. So I don't know if a friendship would fully develop because Josephine technically was competition. Like eventually, if she continued to be successful and get those opportunity,
Mhm.
she will eventually start to be compared to Josephine. And
Yeah.
then they would end up battling each other. So I was like, this might end up bad.
I was
As
expecting
I
that
wasn't expecting her
though.
to die.
See, I didn't expect Josephine to die. I wanted that. That's what I thought. I thought, okay, her, if she's wanting to have power and stuff, then her and Josephine are going to have an issue because everybody's like, ooh, be like Josephine. But we got new girl on the scene, be like
Yeah.
Lori. But then when Josephine died, I'm like, okay, well, this trope is going to be now played out with Coralie and Lori instead. And then that didn't happen. So, yeah.
And then the fact that when she went into the river and Josephine was like, I like everybody doesn't go in, no one has had that much blood. That's how I in my head I was like, oh, she's gonna kill it. And she gonna be like, what? You're better than me. And I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
it's because you had more blood than her. That's where my brain went.
Nah, I feel you on that one. Let's see the comment here. I felt it was a combination of hurt towards her parents not being involved and embarrassment on dad's economic status. She kept focusing on her work attire, on his work attire. Yeah.
Mm.
She was, I will say, as much as I rooted for her and I understand her situation and it's sad, I do think she was very self-centered and very ambitious about this is me. I'm doing anything possible. Stepmother
And
came
she kind of did what people did to her dad.
Yeah. There we go.
Right?
Yep.
Like she kind of adapted some of their mannerisms and how she judged him so harshly. And just frankly, her being embarrassed that he just didn't fit in. It's like you could look at him and see the value that he brings. So she's like, hide him away. They already think I'm less than. They see you. It's all over for me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
It is. I think she realized she was like, well, where I need to go, I don't fit in already, and I'm striving. He doesn't fit in, so that image, I'm gonna just stay away from that. It doesn't serve me. But yeah, she was a lot. Let's see.
What are you willing to give for power?
Oh my God, girl. That is like, I was just looking at that question. That's like right at the top.
Really?
It says, what's worth sacrificing yourself for? See? Oh my God, we're thinking of like, I don't know. Oh gosh. I mean, the power that's
I don't want that kind of power.
Huh?
I don't want that kind of power. I would be a villain.
It's absolute. Yeah.
I'm correcting historical things.
Power, money corrupts. That's for sure. But here's the thing. Okay, so she got power, right? You let it consume you so much that, okay, you become the monster, right? In the end. And that's what, same thing with, yeah, I think the ambition, you get so involved in it that you become this monster, right? What was Cyril? I think they said something about it, but what was his thing? I know he wanted wealth, but how did that, he never became the monster in some fashion,
Did he die too soon? Before he became the monster?
He could have. I was just trying to figure out, you know how they said there's always kind of like a backlash, you know how you ask for something, but it becomes, I was trying to figure out
maybe
what
it was Josephine dying.
Say again?
Maybe his battle was Josephine dying.
Ooh, because she
lost his girl.
Everything. Yeah, but then he didn't seem like he cared that much, so I don't know.
I don't know. I told you he was moody.
He was like Mr. Porcelain, so maybe he was just so fragile. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. What did I put on here? Just like her, because there's her. Oh yeah. I think I talked about this earlier. That she was looking for approval from everybody, but they really feared her talent, so she would never really get their approval, no matter how good she was, because for one, they don't want to like her due to their own internal issues, but also I think that they feared her talent as well. And people don't like somebody.
They don't want the face of ballet to not be a face they resonate with or can be.
There you go.
Right? They're like, oh, we want this to be the representation of this pristine dance. And here we are giving it to someone that we know is not a reflection of us. Ain't gonna happen.
Oh, here's one right here. I got another question here. Okay, the dude Alan, right? The one at the club, right? So at the end, they were talking about how I guess they were rehearsing for the new ballet that, didn't happen or whatever. But this was just a comment that they said that the cast was thought it was they made a comment about how he was cast with the other girl, Nina, right? But the cast considered it a thoughtful touch that they actually cast a black person instead of doing blackface with the other characters, with the character like the other ballet does. And I'm like, did they just admit that they do blackface in the ballet?
Yes,
so it was cool that they finally just hired a black person for the role in this book.
In bright daylight. They admitted it in paper.
It's little bitty things in this book, like just a passing statement that I'll just write down and be like, hold up.
And like I said before, it's so breadcrumbed that if you're not paying attention, it's easy to just dismiss it. Like, oh, okay, keep moving. But you got to double back. Like, wait a minute, what you say?
Exactly.
So y'all doing blackface? And what irritates me about these types of spaces, you can't just be in a space and black. You have to be black first because everyone's going to point out your blackness for you. And it's like, I just want to be a ballerina. I just want to dance like everybody else. But the first thing they see is, oh, look, instead of doing blackface, they actually got a black person to do it. I'm sorry, what? Crazy.
And then you question, like, okay, did they hire you for it because you were black and you fit the thing?
Am I talented or am I just colored?
Yeah, exactly. And then you are talented and stuff, but then it's like, okay, well, this is a role that I can actually get, you know? But then they also talked about how he plays the game too. Apparently, him and Nina had a little video that his mama, because she's endorsing him and promoting him, you know, his mama made a video featuring him and Nina. So it's like he's trying to climb utilizing this white girl. Mm-hmm. But then she's climbing, utilizing him. And so it's kind of like a whole.
They're like trading tokenism. It's hilarious. They're just like, no, I need you to support me so then we can get this group and then I'll support you and we'll get that group and we're gonna build up each other.
I thought it was funny when they said that part because I was sitting there thinking, and this is like again, once again, one of those little small paragraphs that means a lot you delve into. But I thought that they were going to say that when she goes off, because of course she's going to be this, you know, they said she would be a great ballerina or something and be elevated because of that. I was thinking it was going to be, I know this is crass, kind of like back in the day, porn stars of, hey, if you do it,
I knew you were going to say that.
It's over. I was thinking that. I'm like, oh, okay, is this a career?
I knew you were going to say that because I thought the same.
I'm just saying.
I thought the same. I was like, oh, we gonna go there? And I had to check. I was like, wait, this is YA. Hold on. Hold on. I
think like quick.
Bring it down. Bring it down. No, I thought the same. As soon as they said videotape, I said, not another Kim Kardashian situation. I don't have the patience for this at all. This is not what this is about to be about. And when I was like, okay. Safe. We're safe. But I very much went there. So I was like, how are we using each other? Tape? Video? What are we doing? And then I had to look it up and it said YA and then I kept reading. I appreciate the level in which it was spread out and so precise yet so quiet about it. It's very much like, I feel like those types of scenes were almost whispering. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh my God, like, why is this so hurtful yet so delicate all in the same token? It was so frustrating though.
Yeah, they definitely the author did a great job with this book, I will say.
How would you describe this story?
How would I describe this story? Well, hold on. Let's oh my gosh. Okay, you can go while I'm thinking if you have your words already.
Okay, I used it earlier, but I said chilling. Unapologetic comes to mind. Because although it was some very harsh things said, it was very honest. That's my next word, honest. Chilling, unapologetic, and honest. Number 3.
I would say real, subtle, and bold. Real, subtle, and bold. Because I felt like some things were described subtle, but it still was there, but very real to life situations is for ballerina. But what she described and not fitting in and how people feel about her is true to life. And it's not just, Like page 50 is not just ballet. That's
Right.
life in many circles when we show up.
And that
And
I can appreciate.
bold is, oh, you went there? There was a lot they went there. So real subtle bold.
Yes. How did you feel about the character Octavia? Is that how you say it? Octavia?
Yeah.
I think that was her name.
Was it Olympia? Oh,
Octavia, was that the one that was like extra?
I think she's the one that she broke the leg on, right? She was lifting her leg, stretching it, and then
She
she made
deserved
a
it.
break
You
her
know
hip.
what? Who said that?
Huh?
Um, I hated all of the ballerinas, to be honest. I hated every single one of them. I felt like they were just a unit, like one thought one thing, and they all followed with no challenge, no question, no empathy. They were just 1000% mean girls. So whenever it was a scene where she could have hurt them or could have done something, I was like, do it. They need a life lesson. Do it. They need to know that everything's not given. Because if you notice, no one ever denied her talent. They only hated that she had more opportunity. So like it was blatant that she deserved it based on her skill, but because it was not theirs, they dumped her down all the time. And anyone in that spotlight, they were just like, oh, she's getting cheated on, and oh, she got dumped, and her ankles are fat. Like they anything they could talk about, they did, and that's a lesson in itself. They needed that.
That's because she was an other. I say that a lot and stuff. She was an other and she was different. And I think that's why they hated on her. But I feel like I agree with you that all the other dancers kind of blended together. But to me, that was kind of like the symbolism of the ballet. In ballet, you function as a unit. And so you don't want anybody to stand out. You want body types, how you move. It's all fluid as a movement. And she is trumping that. And she stands out just by showing up. It's not even in her movements, but she trumps that by showing up that she's different. And then when she starts moving and she's better than everybody else, then that just adds a whole nother element on top of that. So that otherism is cause for hate right there.
Drop the mic cord. That was spot on. And just thinking about how you said it symbolizes them being a unit, she was very much a self-taught, self-thought person, while the rest of them were very much followers. Very much followers. And that could have played a part, that she wasn't following along with the status quo. She basically just trashed what they thought was the right things to do in order to get to the right places.
I agree.
But yeah, anytime they was talking crazy, I was like, girl, just seal her lips together and she can't talk for a day. Do something. I supported the villain.
Yeah, I liked her as a character. I will say that. Although I will say that towards the beginning, I was just like, I don't think I'm going to like her because she was just me, me, me. But I get her reasonings behind being me, 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 especially being in such a toxic, I think it's definitely toxic space for so long by herself. I feel like
very toxic.
I would be that way too. Yeah, you have no choice.
I feel like she had to be that way to survive. Like, she had to be for her because nobody else would be.
Even when you got Coralie, that's supposed to be your friend, but she's your friend only as long as you are riding her coattails and her support system. I still can't believe when she tried to buy her a piece of jewelry. I don't wear cosmetics.
Girl, you could have stayed at home. That's why I'll hang out with you now. I was cutting that book out.
She kept saying things will be like it used to be. You could follow me and support me.
Which is terrible, because as your friend, I want you to be successful. I want us both to win. And the fact that she was unhappy with her friend winning, because she could have simply said, well, do what you did so we both could be on top. No, she wanted her to be a step down. She wanted her to be her lackey. That's so sad.
That is. I agree.
It's so sad.
Which leads you to that statement at the beginning of the book that says, to those who find freedom and becoming a monster when denied the space to be human. And that is the thing there. She was being denied her humanity. She was pretty much, once she graduated from this school, it was, you're the black girl. We don't want you in ballet. So she had to have favor and become this monster in order to, or she had to side with a monster in order to try to get ahead and take out the race as a factor and just get the opportunity to show what she can do that she's been doing all along. And then she just embraced that totally because she couldn't do what she wanted to do in the ballet world. So she's like, this is all I have. So I'm going to fully become this monster and give whatever I need to in order to. And she did too. You know how before she went in with her clothes, right? This time she took off all her clothes. She was in her birthday suit.
Yes.
And jumped in.
Literally fed herself to
like, I have nothing left. I am giving you everything. I'm being born. To me, that was kind of like a symbolism, how you're born naked, born again.
Not to bring religion in there, but when people talk about baptizing and they dip into the water, like she was willing to transform.
Yeah.
Dang.
This book was good.
I'm gonna need her to make a part 2. Even if it's a novella, I'd read it. I just want to know what happened.
See, I'm sitting there, I'm torn about how to rate this book because I want to give it a 5-star, but the whole dad angle, like the mom, irritates me. But I'm like, do I want to let that bug me? Is that worth taking off? Because I use Storygraph, but I try not to do that whole half-star bit. I try to do 4 or 5, but I think this might be that 5 right there.
I don't even remember what I marked that. I feel like I battled with it too.
Yeah. I used to give 5 stars very freely back in the day, and even last year, so I'm trying to be more particular about what I think is worth. And I'm not like Miss Literary Girl. It's about, did I enjoy the book? You know? So if some things don't make sense enough, then I'm like, I'll take a star off for that. But at the same time, I read this book, Queenie. It's a graphic novel, right? You've read that? Yeah. So I took a star off. It was
like
good.
Candace Williams, right?
Say it again.
Is it Candace Cardi Williams? Queenie?
Yeah, it's a black and white graphic novel.
Yes.
Yeah. So that one I enjoyed. But I took a star off because it was inexcusable. At the beginning of the book, they said C.J. Walker, for Black hair care entrepreneur, was a male.
Yep.
I took a star off.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Inexcusable. So I don't want to be Patty Betty, but dang. Okay.
I'm Patty Betty. I will take off for any inconsistency. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm just saying, we don't get a lot of, published. Come on now. It's a graphic novel.
Right. Do it right.
No, you should have combed through that. That's important.
Yeah, editors didn't pick up on that either. Like, you made it through the whole process and no one picked up on that. Okay.
You know how much you got to comb through? This isn't like a self-published book. You got to comb through graphic novels with all the work that went into that book, which was amazing. That was... I want the publisher to be like, why would somebody, or the author or whoever, I want somebody to be like, why in the hell would she take off a star? Because of that. I want to call attention to it.
Yeah, you need to know, and I need you to do your homework.
But I would probably give this a 5-star because I feel like it's worth. I can excuse that, But yeah, this was a good book, y'all. I don't even know. I read something that somebody says something about a pacing at one part was slow. I thought it was paced well. Like, I didn't have any issues with how this book was. I slowed myself down a lot because I was like, I know they didn't, but
the moment I started this book, I was like, this is good. Let me put it down. Because when I'm enjoying a book, I have to pause because I don't want to stop enjoying it because I'm forcing myself to read. And I'm like, I got to be detailed. I got to remember these things because I'm going to talk about it later with Court. So it got to the point where I was halfway through and I started doing what I always do, which I shouldn't do, is read other people's reviews. And like an idiot, I did. And pacing came up and I was like, they don't know how to read. That's the problem. Y'all reading too fast. Slow down.
Yeah.
A lot of people were talking about like it felt slow, but for me, it just added to the story. Because in my head, when it's slower, it's more of a mystery, right? Like you're
Yeah.
finding evidence to lead up to this, especially with Josephine dying. I was like, oh, this is where it's at. Like we finna get to the nitty gritty. We finna be detailed. So when it didn't, I was very confused. I gave this one a 4.75. I
Oh,
do
okay.
point.
Okay.
I
What
gave it
was
a
that? What was
4.7.
that 0.25 of why? What was that?
I feel like the fight could have been longer. She should have she should have whooped her. I was very upset about that. I felt like she did not get. She deserved a bigger ass whooping, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is where I'm at. But also, I wanted to know more about the other characters. I feel like this one was very driven by her and her development, that we didn't get much of mom. We didn't get much of dad. I just remembered there was a stepmom mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it was very much just ballet. And I would have loved to hear more about the other elements that led her to this kind of direct achievement, and only that, because that's the only thing we got. We didn't get love that she wanted until later. So like, what are the things that happened to her for her to seal the rest of the world and the rest of her family off? I would have loved that.
Yeah, that would have been good. Because it said that the dad basically, what she said at the end, something about the mom died and then you just left a 13-year-old by herself and to run away and allowed her to run away. And I'm like, huh?
What?
For
Right?
this elite school, who's paying for it? Did she have a
Did you
scholarship?
just get on a plane and never looked back? Like, how do we get here?
Yeah, so there's
Like,
little things like that. That's why I'm kind of torn, but it's like, I don't know, maybe I'll do the partial stars like you,
but
but
now we talked about it. I'm like, is it
yeah.
worth knocking it down? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the more I talk about the nuances or of the book, I'm like, dang, this book is good. Like I know there's a lot more in between and how it's structured and written, but just all the details, you're like, wow, it's so good. Pacing
More
was
to
good.
come. I feel like I'm gonna go to sleep and then wake up and regrade it.
I generally don't put out my rate. Well, I haven't done a review because I just finished it right in the sprint, but I put out my reviews and stuff like I'll take a look at my notes that I took. And this is a buddy read. So during here I take more notes than I probably normally would when I'm just reading it for a video or whatever. But I'll do my review after I've kind of presented it on thing. But yeah, it was really good though. I definitely will be recommending this book to other people.
And this was a perfect season to read it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This was like spot on. It just hit fall, weather just changed. We're starting to get the creepy aspects of everything changing. So I think this was just perfect timing. Great book.
Oh, 2023. It just came out too. I never looked at when it came out.
Okay. This was my most anticipated read this year. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, definitely a good book, y'all. Okay, anybody in the chats? Or do you have any other questions or any comments about this book? Anybody in the chat?
Fantastic, but no other questions. I asked all
little things, but I felt it was good for. And for a debut, I'm just in awe. This is a debut, and another book, The Black Queen, is also a debut, and that is a guy.
It is.
Yeah, the Black Queen is a debut, and this is I think this is a non-binary. I'm not schooled in how to say it. Do you say non-binary male, female, or just say non-binary?
Non-binary.
Okay, well, this is a non-binary. Still beautiful.
Right there. And here I am. I never even looked at this side of the book because I immediately closed it and said it. I have never even looked at the end of this book to look at the author. I am terrible. But that's
girl, I've been doing too much lately. I'm telling you, I be looking at authors. Okay, I'm BookTube has been teaching me. I'm newer to BookTube. I joined last year, but I'm still newbie trying to get my feet wet in certain things. And I've been trying to be more into BIPOC, authors because I've been learning about publishing. So, but in the last few months, I'm like, you know what? I need to start checking some of these authors, especially when you're doing like readathons,
Yes.
and it's certain things, then you need to
Yes.
verify.
Absolutely. I've been in the booktube space for a couple years now, but I feel like I never like really emerged into it until I would say last year, end of last year, beginning of this year. But there is so much that I've learned from this space, both good and bad, right? Like sometimes your favorite authors are terrible people and you're like, how could you? Like this is personal. You hurt me. I can't even read my favorite book anymore. But I appreciate the space for always educating. Right?
Yes.
I've learned so much just being in this space. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't even know what that word means. Let me look it up. Oh my God. Please tell me this isn't true. So yes, it's a
I
lot.
didn't know the word BIPOC or trope until I got into this space. I'm like, what the hell are they
What was
talking
it?
about?
It was something. The first thing I learned in this space was TBR and DNF.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Because
I
someone
heard
was like, "Is
DNF.
it
I was like,
DNF?"
well,
And I'm
this
like,
is
"Excuse me, I don't do that. I am engaged. What are we talking about?" And they're like, "Did not finish." And I'm like, "I hate y'all. I'm out. I'm not gonna y'all not gonna embarrass me out here." So yes, you learn a lot real
yes,
fast.
definitely. Oh, well, this has definitely been fun, y'all. I had a blast. We're here way longer than I thought we would, but it's been a good time.
What
This book
time?
is a lot
Oh
to
my goodness,
unpack.
we've been here for 2 hours.
I know. I was thinking like an hour and a half, maybe
I'm
max.
sorry, Court.
No, you're good, girl. I ain't got nothing. I'm good. I already told my husband, hey, look, I'm doing book stuff tonight.
You gotta have that conversation too, huh? Okay.
Exactly. He knows I'm long-winded, but this book, he knows because I told all the really juicy parts I would put
Same.
down and go talk to him about it. So he already knew I had a lot to say about this book.
As
So
he should, because my husband be like, I don't know what she's talking about, but I'm just here to listen.
yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. I gotta find some other books that we can all talk about and stuff. But yeah, this
Yes, you
was
said that we're reading a lot of the same books. So please, please, please let me know what's on your list because I just bought it a lot. But I'm always buying. So
no, I think this thing, I went to your IG and that's when I saw that you were reading this one. But then I was looking and I was like, dang, hold up. Where's the thing I had? Hold
if
up.
it's a black girl on the cover, I probably got it. I'll just let you know.
Where is hold up? I'm trying to find hold up. Oh, I just took it off here. Where am I going? Oh my gosh, y'all. This phone here is out of for the birds. Yes, I went to your IG, right? And I saw this, and I'm like, dang, we
Oh
got all
yeah.
these books.
Yeah.
Black
My
Queen
husband
Signature.
bought those because I
And
wanted
then
new
you
books.
had another one of what was it? It was a black girl running shit on a white slip. This was your IG, but then your TBR video came out and you had another book on there. It was another
Oh,
YAA slasher
is it
type
the
book.
one by Brittany S. Norris or Morris? I'm trying to remember all the ones that was in that. Because I made like a video and I put it up there and everybody's like, I have this book, I have that book.
Yeah. I forgot what it
Oh,
was. It was another one. It was another one. It was kind of like You're Supposed to Die Tonight. It was kind of similar about like a final girl type thing. The girl with the clown, she was trying to be a social media or throw a party in the high school or whatever, and then she hires a clown, and the clown starts killing people.
oh, I know what you're talking about.
It was in your video,
Oh, my
yeah.
brain.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, let me see that. And then, I started thinking I actually got it from the library, but I was like, it's kind of like, hey, I got some other books and I returned it.
You want to
But I
read
was
it
like, I
next?
already
Because
read
I'm
three
always
books
down to
Bonnie's
read.
reading. Huh?
There's No Way I'll Die First.
There we go. Yes.
That's the one. I was like, I had to find it, but yes, that book and this one were my most anticipated reads. I saw thriller, suspense, horror, mystery books with black girls on, and I was like, absolutely,
That's what I'm
take
saying.
my money.
But
That's how that
did you read that? Was it good?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
When do you get it? I'll save it. I'll savor it. You let
Yeah,
me
I
know
picked
when
it
you're ready
up
to
from the
read it.
library. I was like, oh, maybe I'll read that since I'm reading all these others. And then I was like, okay, this month got away from me. I went out a few times and I was like, I don't have time to add in a whole nother book. So
I'll
I was
save
like,
it for
okay.
you.
Huh?
I'll save it for you.
Oh no, you're good. I'm not a big YA person. So it takes a special perspective for me to kind of go into it. But this one was definitely worth the time and effort. Let's
I
see.
love it.
I would like more backstory with her family and how she got into the school. Yes, that would have been good too. I think that might have slowed down maybe some of the pacing if they would have got into that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends on that.
It
Would have
had
been
to be
good.
like a flashback or something.
Yeah. You know how in this book, you know how we were talking about like what they did the blackface. It was like one little paragraph. To me,
Yeah.
I feel like they could have added in a little backstory in a quick little paragraph or two like that. Because this author does a really good job of adding a lot of substance in a small space.
Yes.
And I think having done that to add in maybe something about the mom and if the dad's French and how he got all the way over here and her backstory, I think that would have resolved that in my head. I think
Agreed.
doing a whole nother book, I don't know. I don't know
I
how
said
I
a
feel
novella. That's all I need. Give me 40 pages. I need it.
about a little novella.
Just give me a novella. Explain a little bit, wrap up a little bit. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. If they did a whole nother book, it would be about her like into this new circus performance thing stuff. And so that would be a whole nother thing because that shouldn't be cutthroat like it was in the ballet world. So I
Oh
think this is
man.
fine. You don't want to have sequel syndrome. I think this is good as is.
That's fair. That's fair. But I'm greedy, so
I just want this author to write another book.
yes,
Just like in another, because this was good.
Yes. The way that they are intentional with their words and their phrasing, I really appreciated that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't in your face. It wasn't too much. It was just right.
I agree. Both really enjoyed the book and chat. Thank you very much, Pat, for coming. Thank you for biding us with time. Hey, Gigra, solid 4 stars. Yeah, it was definitely solid 4 or 5. I need to look if somebody gave this below a 4. I would be
I got Storygraph, so I don't know what Goodreads says.
Yeah, if somebody below a 4, I want to look at their profile.
Who are you and where did you come from? Because I'm judging you.
Exactly. I want to see what your profile says.
It says a lot about the way I drew you in my mind, what that profile looks like.
Okay, let's get out of here, y'all. You have anything else to say?
No, thanks for having me. This was fun. I don't do a lot on other people's channels. And this month I was like, I'm not doing anything on my channel. So whoever invites me to something, I'm going.
Hey, well, I want to do more buddy reads in the future. Maybe not every month, but I got to find a good book. This one was a good book. Like it was way better than I had thought. Like I saw one preview and I was like, and I kind of halfway listened to the preview because I was like, I'm sold with what you already told me. So I didn't want to get too much into it so I can, know for myself a little bit. And it did not disappoint. It was way better than I thought. So do you have any videos coming out or anything you want to talk about?
I'm on vacation for the most part on my channel, but I do supposed to do a video just going over some thrillers, suspense books that I picked up recently. That'll probably drop next week. Also, I didn't even tell you guys my channel. I'm Books with Bonnie on absolutely everything. I'm all over the place, but TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you can pull up, I'm Books with Bonnie on everything. So catch me there.
There you go. And Bonnie does sprints, not now, but occasionally on her channel every other week or so, normally on Mondays. So just subscribe and then you can know whatever she's doing. That's what you should do. Just subscribe and just keep checking back.
I am a hot mess express, so don't expect perfection over there. Just so y'all know.
If they are watching this channel, they already know Hot Mess Express, so they're okay with that. Okay, it can't be any worse than this crazy midlife crisis right here. Okay, so it's okay.
I love it.
And then I think I have a tag on Saturday. If I somehow film it and edit, we'll see. It depends. I don't know. That's my plan. Is it going to happen? I don't know because I'm doing something tomorrow. We'll see. Just subscribe and check back. We'll see what's up. And that is it. I want to thank y'all all for coming. It has been a great time discussing this book. If there are any other book recommendations y'all have, feel free to message myself or Bonnie or whatnot. And I'll see y'all around BookTube, okay?
See you all in the next
Bye-bye.
one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.